you do that? How did you do that?
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be going over the sets in Halls of Fabrication with their potential changes for the Stonethorn DLC. This is the PTS, so none of this is live. This is just testing that we're doing right now, things that could change. They are suggested, they are likely to come through in change regardless, but whether they come through as they are or stronger or weaker, we don't know until release. But we're going to go over them anyway, so you can get hyped up about the potential for these sets. Now, in Halls of Fabrication, there are 4 sets. There is Inventor's Guard, there is War Machine, there is Automaton Defense, and there is also the Master Architect. Each one of these sets has a similar bonus. There's one for Magic DPS, one for Stamina DPS, there's one for Tank, there's one for Healer. Both Healer and Tank grant 2 people within 28 meters, plus themselves, Major Aegis for 10 seconds for using any ultimate. So surely the cheaper the ultimate, the better, right? And the DPS sets, the Magic set and the Stamina set, have the opposite effect. Instead of giving people Major Aegis, giving them 15% reduction to incoming damage for 10 seconds, you give them Major Slayer, giving them 15% increased damage for 10 seconds. So again, use really cheap ultimates. It's a very short period of time. The more you can use your ultimate, the better. However, this has been changed. Instead of being for 2 targets plus yourself, it's now 5 targets plus yourself within 28 meter range. So really, 2 people staggering those in a group is quite easy to do. However, what about the timer? 10 seconds isn't very long. Cheap ultimates, you're limited. Not anymore. The intention is to make this more useful for people that want to benefit the group and utilize lots of ultimate to give bigger buffs. So, the Major Aegis sets, these 2 here, and the Major Slayer sets, Master Architect and War Machine, all have a change. 5 group members, 6 including you, and Major Slayer is no longer 10 seconds long. It lasts 1 second for every 14 ultimates spent. So, what you need to do is utilize this very carefully. Sure, you could still use cheap ultis and get a decent amount from it. In fact, if you're a Nightblade spamming a 70 point ultimate, you get about 5 seconds or so out of it. And sometimes you can build ultimate so fast that's 100% uptime anyway for you. It depends on the situation. But that's very unlikely. However, if we build a little bit of ultimate here, speed this up. So we've got our Dawnbreaker, which is 128 ultimate. Use it. We get 9 seconds of Major Slayer. 9 seconds for using Dawnbreaker is not far off what it was before. If you used Dawnbreaker in the past, you would get 10 seconds. So it covers more people and similar uptime. However, if you have a more expensive ultimate, so we'll put on a Warhorn, then you will get a different effect. So Warhorn is just over 250, so we pop that. 18-second Major Slayer for your entire group. So it's not 10 seconds for firing the Warhorn that you already fired for 2 people. It's 18 seconds for 5 people, 6 including yourself, which is really, really handy. So that being the most expensive ultimate available, unless you're going towards vampire type stuff and you start going into cost increase and all that good stuff, and also the Necro ultis, they're a little bit more expensive, but we're talking across the board that everyone can get access to. That's a decent buff, but it goes even further than that, because if you want to increase that even more, read very, very carefully. It's 14 ultimate spent. 1 second for every 14 ultimate spent, not ultimate cost. So regardless of how much it costs, however much you spend is where the benefit comes in. So if, for example, you're in a situation where you've held on to your ultimate for too long, or you can just build ultimate very, very well, you can overbuild your ultimate and gain too much and benefit from more from this. So we use a 250 ultimate, which is borderline top end for most ultimates that you can find. There are some higher ones, yes, but they're very class specific or situation specific. 250 is bloody high. But let's go to 500. Okay, so now that we've got 500 ultimate, let's fire it. 35 seconds on Major Slayer. That is bonkers. So for holding on to your ultimate or overstacking it, you can actually get 35 seconds. I know we caught that on 34, pushing 33, but if you take 500 and divide it by 14, you will actually have 35.7. We don't get the extra 0.7, but we do get 35 seconds of Major Slayer or Major Aegis. So you and 5 other people get 15% increased damage or 15% increased protection for 35 seconds if people hold on to that ultimate. Now let's just do something a little silly, because I'm sure people have done this in the past, but we're going to make this a little bit more relevant for now. So, just for shits and giggles, what we're going to do is we're going to put the Inventor's Guard set on, or you can use Automaton Defense, really doesn't matter. We're just showing this for demonstration purposes. And we will put on a Major Aegis set, and we will put on a Major Slayer set. And we'll build up 500 ultimate. Now, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that this is going to work, but we're going to do it anyway. So we've got a Major Aegis set on, we've got a Major Slayer set on, and we have 500 ultimate because we've managed to acquire it really, really quickly for whatever reason. And here we go, here's a Warhorn. Major Slayer, Major Aegis, both of them for 35 seconds at a time for your 5 members in your group and yourself. So 6 people in total. So 15% protection, 15% damage output, absolutely nuts. So instead of the 10-second timer we had before for only 2 other people, now it's just stupid. So if you've got a couple of people stacking different versions of this set, maybe a healer, maybe a tank, so you've got 2 different Major Aegis, maybe a Mag DPS and a Stam DPS, you've got 2 different types of Major Slayer. No, they do not stack, but they do overwrite, and if they're using a healthy amount of ultimate at the time, of course, this is going to benefit everybody. So this is actually a really, really positive change to these sets. VHOF is one of the most visually amazing trials that we actually have. It's very, very cool to look at. Lots of really nice mechanics in there as well, and not enough people honestly going in there. It did get nerfed to crap a couple of patches ago, so it's a lot easier for pugs to do now, but the sets in there are just not that desirable for the everyday player. But this may actually be a massive benefit, not just to the everyday player, but of course to those bigger groups out there that are more serious about trials, that want to give that extra buff to everyone and can't quite do it with some of the other sets that we've got. So Major Slayer, first of all, was just not giving it to enough group members. There was a set recently that encouraged people to use a heavy attack, but it was scaled off of the big direct hit on a heavy, so the lightning and the resto could really only get about 5 or 6 ticks out of it. This is a nice change, but again, it may not come through to live. But how do you build that much ultimate? Because getting 500 ultimate may take a lot of work. Well, here's some things to consider. First of all, this is not a build, this is just giving you some basics, okay? You've got your passives and such, so you could be a Nord, for example, where you actually get ultimate back when you take damage. If you're a tank or a DPS, you're going to take damage anyway, so that helps you. You've also got sets like this, which has been buffed to hell, and it is Deadwater's Guile. This comes from Overland in Murkmire, or you can go into Black Rose Prison, or you can buy it off the market because it counts as Overland. When an enemy nearby dies, within 2 seconds of being damaged by you, you get 15 ultimate. So basically all you have to do is this: put down some AoE while blocking stuff, and everything that dies, as long as you did some damage like we're doing now, you'll get 15 ultimate back. You can build rapidly. Then of course you can have the Vampire Drain skill, which gives you ultimate every second. You can go with the Decisive trait, which can enhance your ability to gain ultimate. Light and heavy attacks will give you 3 ultimate a second for 8 seconds. Then, of course, Bloodspawn got enhanced again as well. So this is back up to 13 ultimate if it procs with a 5-second cooldown, which is insane. Then you've got all manner of different things. If you're a Nightblade, you've got your Potion passive, which means you can obviously build ultimate much, much faster. You can then go for Potion cooldown in your Jewelry traits and stuff like that. There's many different things that you can stack together to enable you to generate 500 ultimate really, really fast. Not to mention a very overlooked passive, of course, Fighter's Guild. If the enemies are Undead, Daedra, or Werewolf, you get 9 ultimate if you get the kill. So if you have got damage going off and things are low health and you get lucky with those kills, this will also give you ultimate back. So gaining 500 ultimate, if you spec for it, is not that hard to do. Note, of course, very specifically, this set is encouraging you to build ultimate. So those sets that people use to get ultimates cheaper to use the ultimate more often is actually a negative for this set. You don't want cheaper ultimates. You want to have more ultimate in your pool. And one thing that is also dramatically overlooked, take the synergies. It doesn't matter what they are. Don't scream at people saying, oh, you put a damage synergy on me and I'm a tank. It doesn't matter. Take the bloody synergies. Someone else can take the next one anyway. Because if you do, look. 2 ultimate for the privilege with no cooldown. Every synergy you take is 2 ultimate. You can stack ulti really fast. So this change to the set for DPS, tanks, healers, whatever, is really good if you build for it. Everyone will benefit. Solid update. Really like the changes to it so far. Hopefully it comes through from live, or to live rather, but we can of course never say never. Maybe they'll adjust it. Maybe they'll bring it down. Maybe they'll put it up. Who knows? Very nice indeed, but we'll see. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Hugely appreciate the support. If you're not subscribing on YouTube, please do hit that button. It is free. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. And of course, if you want to keep up to date with anything outside the channel, including links and social media and all that kind of stuff, there are links in the description for Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, the website XynodeGaming.com, Instagram, and of course I live stream on Twitch every single day except Wednesdays, unless of course I say otherwise on Twitter. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.